Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. As you can see today, I don't have a ranking or a top 10 or a review. We're going discussion based. Haven't done one of those in a while and I felt in the mood. So I know there have been a lot of tags going around. I have been tagged in a few of those tags, but the subjects or questions, while great, I was drawing mental blanks and like, can't possibly do it. So I skipped over them and instead I was watching a lot of friends doing tags and I was loving them. And I was like, I want to get involved in another tag because I realized I mostly prefer to do horror tags and I hadn't done one since 2018. And so instead I thought I would just create one myself, but this time focusing specifically on foreign horror films. I love foreign horror films. I love horror films in general, and I don't talk about them enough on this channel outside of doing my October reviews, and that's my own fault. I have no one to blame but myself, so bad Ashley. So I have created this foreign horror movie tag consisting of 10 questions. I'll be tagging some people over on Twitter who I would love to see do this. If they don't, that's perfectly fine. But really, if you are watching this and you want to do it, I encourage you to do so. Just please, if you have me on social media, tag me when you post it so that I can go and watch it and see what your answers are. Or if you don't have social media, drop links to your videos in my comment section so I can go and follow them and support them. That would be amazing. I mean, really, anybody who wants to do this, please do this. You will see the questions on the screen, but I will also leave copies of the questions I have written in the description box so you can copy and paste those and work off them. If you don't have a blog or a YouTube channel or anything like that and you still want to answer these questions, again, questions will be in the description box, and then just post your answers down in the comment section. I would love to read what your answers are to some of these. So without further ado, on with the first question. First question is very simply, favorite foreign horror film? And for me, that goes to 2008's Martyrs. This film excels at psychology and is still one of the best I have ever seen. The level of intensity is very emotional to the point I cry more and more each time I see it. It peels everything back and examines each level of the human psyche and what it is capable of and what it can and cannot endure, taking a hard look at the human condition in visceral ways. Just such a fantastic film that did not need a remake. I understand it was probably to appeal to an English-speaking audience, but not a good enough reason to mess with perfection. Next question is favorite foreign horror comedy, and mine goes to 1996's Killer Condom. The title is self-explanatory. Look, this is an absurd film, no doubt about it. It's not great quality or anything, but through the medium of a horror comedy, it's actually a poignant piece about prejudices against the LGBTQ+ community, how we are viewed by society and disregarded, and cruel acts being committed in the name of religion, and how it is easily excused or dismissed even by law enforcement. It also looks at how society creates a system that naturally treats people of certain statuses as undesirable and forces them to look down upon situations and then blames them for it. It's not the best film you'll ever see, but if you can look past the absurdity, there's a great message there. Next up is favorite ending in a foreign language film, and again mine goes to 2008's Martyrs, because this is not a feel-good ending by any stretch of the imagination, and many people who watch it view the ending in two different ways. They believe either our villain was given the answer she sought and found a means not to share it, which could be possible, but I don't really buy that. I believe in the end, spoiler by the way, our villain, after finally creating a victim who has lived through the most unimaginable suffering and has seen life beyond death, instead of telling her tormentor what she wanted to hear, she lied and told her there is nothing after this life as a final act of defiance and fuck you to those who hurt her and her friend. The mademoiselle, devastated by the news and left to reflect on the horrible things she had done, being for nothing and now seeing no reason for her own existence, took her life but never told the truth to her band of rich cult followers because she still wanted to maintain the illusion that there is more to this life. It's not cathartic, it's not a rewarding ending, but it's in tone with the film. Worst foreign language plot twist, and mine goes to 2003's Haute Tension, also known as High Tension. Most people don't see the plot twist or reveal coming. I, however, saw it coming from the beginning due to certain things the killer did that made no sense other than to be clues of what will later be revealed. On top of that, the way the victim reacts to her savior is another clue, but those issues aside, it just doesn't make any sense. The introduction of the villain doesn't line up with the twist. The twist itself, when you think about it, is out of nowhere. There's no trigger or reason for it. There's no logical reason for it to exist. And the reason why I believe so many people are so shocked by it is because of how much it makes no sense. If the rest of the film set it up better, it would be a great ending, but it's not. It's just stupid. Favorite jump scare in a foreign horror film, and mine goes to 2017's Peng Abdi Satan, also known as Satan's Slaves. I have raved about this moment so many times. I even mentioned it in my top 10 jump scares video because it is just so clever. It's not about the story or the characters, it's entirely about the camera work and editing, and for me, it was something I hadn't seen before. During this one particular moment, several characters are in the house doing different things, and as we bounce between their scenes, with each scene very obviously setting us up for a jump scare, but it's impossible to know which is which. Very much like a 3-shell game. We don't know which scene will have the actual jump scare, or maybe all of them will, but the anticipation for it is brilliant, and then as it builds up the suspense, it holds the scene for an abnormal amount of time to make you think we were wrong, that there is no jump scare, and just as soon as you start to think you can relax, BAM! That's when it hits you, and I absolutely love it. Nothing has been able to top it yet for me. Name a foreign horror film that went in a direction you did not expect, but loved. And for me, that goes to 2015's The Silenced. As you're watching this film, you're never sure where it's going. Is it a supernatural film? Are people being tortured and murdered? Are girls being killed by popular psychos? Are the teachers evil? Just what is happening exactly? And while I never knew, I was very okay with that because the journey was very interesting. And then we get towards the end, and then the film morphs into a mystery thriller superhero type movie, which was nowhere in my expectations. That may sound weird, but it works. Everything works, and on paper, that direction sounds bizarre, but it's not. It's where this film always intended to go, and it was awesome. A foreign horror film that, once explained, makes absolute sense. And that for me is 2016's The Wailing. Upon my first watch of this film, while I enjoyed it, I didn't love it because I felt the tone for the first half was that of a comedy, so the switch in tone didn't make sense for me. And while it's meant to make you second guess the nature of certain characters, even by the end, I wasn't sure who was who or what was what. One day, I found the greatest breakdown of this film that explained the various characters and even clues within the film I had not noticed or understood. Their explanation was so perfect that looking back, it made everything seem so obvious. But honestly, I wasn't looking for Christian themes in a South Korean horror film, especially when they are not overtly addressed. But when you realize they're there, it's clear as day, and quite brilliant how they adapted said themes into this film so organically that a bit of a theology mythology buff didn't even notice it. Maybe they were too adapted. This battle of good and evil, this battle of wills, and how all you need to survive is to have faith, which is not as easy as it seems. Once you understand the film, it all makes sense and comes together, and it's just brilliant, though I still question its tonal delivery. Okay, here's the part where I probably butcher some names, and for that I apologize. This next question is, who is your favorite foreign horror villain? And mine goes to Jung Kyung-chul from 2010's I Saw the Devil. Played by Min-sik, this villain is unsettling, nauseating, so vacant and lethal, and also scary intelligent, and he's only as good as our hero. The game of cat and mouse, which in most films is depicted as the villain as the cat and the hero as the mouse, but in this film it's the other way around. There are so many uncomfortable what the fuck moments, and this villain never gives you what you want or what you expect. It's both something I love and hate about him. He's terrifying and about as unstoppable and lethal as Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees, only this guy isn't a metahuman. He's just a complete and utter psychopath, which makes him all the better. Characters who are so evil but so human are far more terrifying because they're more realistic and you can imagine them really existing. While the character meets the end we hope for, it is by no means a feeling of celebration or relief. You've never felt so depressed watching a villain finally meet their much-deserved demise. Favorite foreign horror reveal or plot twist, and mine goes to 2007's El Orfanato, also known as The Orphanage. This film is a brilliant example of why you shouldn't assume that all horror films are scary or full of jump scares, because they're not. Horror is a genre that allows us to dive into the darkest recesses of humanity and our own minds and pull out the worst of ourselves or our worst fears and play it on our screens and allow us to be confronted by it. This film has one of the most devastating reveals I have ever seen that I still can't forget to this day. It is absolutely heartbreaking and doesn't provide you with a soft landing or any real way of coping or dealing with it. In so many horror films, there's a villain or an evil force, something to fight and overcome, which is easy. It's easy to move past something you can see and fight. How do you fight an accident? How do you fight pain and loss that occur for no good reason? Not because of malice or some entity, but just a series of very, very unfortunate events. How do you accept and come to terms with that? 4 years later, and it's hard to think about this film and not feel like my heart is breaking in two. And last but by no means least, what's your favorite cinematography in a foreign horror film? And mine goes to 2017's The Floresta de las Almas Perdidas, also known as The Forest of the Lost Souls. This film blew me away, and I've talked about it several times when given the opportunity. The story is told in such a unique and surprising manner that I've not seen done before. It's a slasher film that does something so different for the genre, but what really brings it home is the cinematography. This film is completely done in black and white, and the brilliant thing about that is that it's still able to make so much stand out. It's shot so meticulously to allow for moments in the foreground to tell their story, but still allow us to notice important moments taking place in the background. If you told this exact same story in Technicolor, it would not have remotely had the same effect. The cold monotones found in the black and white style are exactly what this film needs. It pushes the narrative and is a great reflection of our lead character. It's so beautifully understated and, as I said, so meticulous that I was completely blown away by it, even still to this day. And that, folks, is my foreign horror movie tag. If you like these questions and you would personally like to answer them, like I said, check the description box. You will find copies of the questions, and all you have to do is, if you don't have a channel or anything like that, just copy the questions and answer them in the comment section so that I can see them and read them and enjoy the wonderful variation of answers between everybody. But if you do want to do this on your channel, please make sure to tag me on social media or leave a link to your video in the comment of this one so that I can go and see them and support them, because I really want to see everyone's answers. But that is it. I hope you liked this video. I hope you liked my questions and my answers, and I look forward to seeing what everybody has to say. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, watch lots of movies and TV, watch some horror movies, especially some foreign horror movies, and I hope to see you in my next video. So until then, bye!